what started this anti-aging passion of yours, and what have been some of the top things you've done over the years that you found that have enhanced your quality of life?
Well, I guess first of all, how I learned about peptides from Suzanne Ferry, who is our doctor, specializes in anti-aging regenerative medicine, and an opportunity to live above the average. One of the things I've learned is that the numbers that you used to see on your blood work, they give you this average, not ultimate or the best. And so I learned from her, we want to strive to be above that, especially as you age. You need that. You can't settle for lower numbers. So I think part of it is really to be above the average. And, we know everyone, there's so much talk about living longer, longevity, but I don't want to just hang around. I don't want to just be here. If I'm not going to live that full, you know, robust life, I don't want to be here. So what do? You have to be very intentional, as you said, about what you do. And I guess I'll start with just peptides because that has probably made one of the most dramatic differences. And I played tennis. I was playing tennis a lot before I have stenosis, which that's a whole nother talk about living with. And I asked my doctor one day, I said, I've got this crepiness on my arm and I don't like wearing my tennis dress anymore. I don't like it. What can I do? You've given me peptides for helping with body fat and strength and muscle and immune system. What can I do? And she said, well, you can use what I do. And I thought she's going to name some, brand. And she said GHKCU, copper peptides. And that's where it started. And she actually wrote me a prescription, got it from the compound pharmacy. It was a foam, and I used it for a couple of months, and I saw something different than anything I'd ever used. I mean, it's almost like healthier skin. It just looked brighter and smoother. And so that really was one of the starting points. And what I love about that is if you feel good and look good, I mean, it goes together. So if your complexion looks good, your skin looks bright, you're going to feel better. So I think it's very important. And that's how we started the business is Terry, who has the entrepreneurial spirit. I was fine just buying it. He said, I don't like this foam you're using. I think it can be better. And, we started dreaming about other wonderful ingredients that we loved in a product. And 6 months later, we had Vitali. And that's just one of the peptides. I love thymosin alpha. I love, which is for immune system. Tesamorelin, which you use to help with your body building strength. All those things give back what, you've lost through aging, and it really gives you a fighting chance.
That's awesome, and so, like, I would imagine that when people are, like, looking to change their skincare routine and they're looking to do things to better their health, they also change, like, what they eat. They also change maybe their sleep schedule, how they manage stress, exercise, like, were there any other, like, changes you made in your overall health approach that you think have helped you, like, not feel like you're, quote, unquote, "hanging around," like you said?
Well, I'll finish up and then give it to Terry. You mentioned sleep, and that is huge. I learned from Nat Needham about, I went to one of her retreats about sleep hygiene. Like she spent a lot of time just talking sleep hygiene. I'm thinking about, your 20s and 30s, like that'd be the last thing you would be thinking about. And it really is a process that makes a difference. And that includes what you eat, how, do not eat anything 2 to 3 hours before bed. Peak noise, that's the new thing we have. We have peak noise, and it has made a tremendous difference in our sleep. We have grounding sheets, which we believe has made a difference in our sleep. So we have this whole checklist that we've made it just become natural, but it's almost like, okay, have you done this? Have you done this? And taking magnesium and certain things before bed that help stop your mind, stop your brain from going. So I would say sleep probably one of the biggest. What do you think, Terry?
What got me going more than anything else, I think, was changing my diet. Um, there were a lot of things I was consuming that I was just totally ignorant of. It's like intuitively you think this can't be good for you. But when I quit, in particular, being so addicted to sugar, it changed my life. And it's been a long time since I actually picked up a pack of sugar or real sugar for almost anything.
Hummingbirds. That's all. The only thing we buy sugar for is hummingbird.
But at the time, then I'd always been kind of a fitness guy as far as working out. But it was only when I changed my diet that weightlifting and aerobic and all the other things I was doing really started to impact for the positive. So, I didn't do it necessarily just for my skin, but has it made a difference for my skin? Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what did your diet and exercise look like before you made these changes? Like, what was your activity level like? You mentioned you were addicted to sugar. Like, what did your meals look like before? And then, like, what types of things do you specifically do now?
Well, this is so funny. When I think about one of the things I used to absolutely love is Cool Whip. Because I think, well, this is benign. It's just fluffy air. And, but I would go through a tub of Cool Whip every night. I mean, I could really put it away.
Because it was low calorie. Low calorie, full of just total junk.
So that's just one example. And not to mention, there were things I was eating by way of cereals that kind of got my attention after I started realizing just how sugar induced that product was. So walked away from that and really just totally changed my mind in terms of what that was to do for me.
Yeah. And I know that for people as they get older, exercise becomes paramount, specifically strength training when it comes to overall quality of life. Um, how have you both, I know Debbie, you mentioned you play tennis. Like, what is your like movement routines like now to help like offset the impacts of aging and then help improve your overall quality of life?
Weightlifting is by far, strength training is the top. And I have a trainer and lift weights 3 or 4 times, have a program, upper body, these muscles, lower body, and then do aerobic in between. It's amazing. It is so much harder to build muscle now than, again, 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s. I mean, I'm 69 and Terry turned 70 this month. So we see the dramatic difference and how much harder it is to keep that tone and muscle. So you have to really, again, the diet is huge. Having some help with peptide, that definitely has made a difference. And then really continuing to lift as heavy, not just light weights for us. We like to lift heavy. And, we see a difference in, both muscle and just the way you feel after you do that. So, and then we do a lot of walking in between.
The other thing I would say that really, I believe, contributes to wellness and longevity just begins her attitude. You can just see what somebody's attitude looks like based on their posture. So if their chest is collapsed, their shoulders are slumped, they've got that protruding neck syndrome that goes on, you know it's not right. So to be able to have great posture and to actually really and truly be able to be strong enough to keep your shoulder back and keep an attitude that says today is a different day than yesterday was, that tomorrow is going to be better. And I am not necessarily bound to anything that I was a part of in the past. I've got a new sense of purpose and freedom that I'm looking forward to. So having that kind of attitude to go conquer on a day-to-day basis is absolutely huge.
And fun fact, Terry was a motivational speaker before starting the skincare company. I'm interested, like, what do you say to people like who have a mindset that's fixed, that say, you know what, like it's too late. I'm 50, I'm 60. Like, who cares about my health? I just want to enjoy the last decade or so of my life, 2 decades of my life. I don't want to be bothered. Like, how would you help somebody with their mindset
The most difficult thing in the world for somebody in that kind of mindset is to do exactly what it is that needs to be done to change their life. And that is to quit thinking about yourself and start thinking about somebody else. So if I can turn my attention towards, not towards my own emotion, not towards my own sense of victimization, but an opportunity to use my strengths and my failures even to help somebody else, I am going to be a different person because of that. And I'm going to think different, act different, exercise different, because it puts a sense of purpose that you didn't have when you were just contemplating, oh, woe is me.
Debbi, I know you came out of retirement to start this skincare company. I know you were like, I think in marketing for a long time. Um, like why on earth would you exit peaceful retirement to start a skincare company in the climate that exists today with all the supplement companies?
That is kind of crazy. I actually came out of retirement to spend time with my granddaughters, my grandchildren, and which I got to have 3 to 4 years. It was wonderful. They're now in schools, picking them up from camp today. But because I saw the opportunity, in this case, GHKCU copper peptide, I had never heard of before my doctor introduced it to me. So I started asking, the ladies I played tennis with, people in the neighborhood, friends. I said, are you familiar with or do you use peptides? And the only thing people heard of was collagen peptides. They knew about that, but never heard of copper peptides. And so I started started sharing what I was doing. And I could see there was a need because I saw dramatic changes in my skin. And I mean, above anything I had ever done. And I needed it more than ever. I mean, I saw, scars fading and little lines under my eyes. I saw smoothing. I mean, something really special. And when I learned and understood the science about how it gives you back what your body had naturally, you had significantly more GHK copper peptide when you were younger, and it decreases so much over age. I got excited thinking we need to share this. And Terry's the one that said, I think we need to develop, healthy, clean product. And he was the one meeting with the chemist to begin with. And within 6 months, we had, 3 products, and we had people knocking at our door, can I have, because we hadn't, actually put it out on the market, and they were bringing their, containers. Can you please fill me up? So that's kind of how it started. And now after 5 years, we just can't stop.
Was there any like bumps in the road early on? Like talk about, I'd love to hear how it impacted like your relationship, like what the early days were like. I think people would really be interested in that.
You can, yeah, that's a really good question.
Debbie and I worked together in a prior life also. She was my boss. And so anyway, we had already had some experience in terms of what it takes to work together. We did and achieved great things together. But when we started this business, we didn't really know what we didn't know, and which was a lot. And so it took probably, I'm going to say, a good year and a half to anyway, for us to figure out which lanes we were going to swim in, and to be mindful of that and really be set on the fact that I'm going to stay in my lane. It may be that I know something about what she's involved in as far as what she has taken charge of, but I don't know all of it. That's for certain. And I certainly don't know the best part of it. So being able to yield to one another's strengths has become a really big deal. And I think the other thing, quite frankly, that has helped so much with our relationship is we give each other the benefit of the doubt. So rather than being so easily offended and putting chips on our shoulders and waiting for the other to knock it off, it's always better, always best to be able to look to see to the heart, what that may have sounded cruel, that may have sounded cold, but I know better than that. So those kind of things really helped.
Terry is better than I am at that. I have learned a lot about him giving me the benefit of the doubt and judging, as he says, my heart versus maybe words that came out of my mouth because he knows me. And I think that's made a huge difference. And I mean, just to give you an example, one day he just said, "These are 3 words you need to remove from your vocabulary. You need to." Yeah. Because I direct a lot. I was used to directing in my former business, and I didn't have anybody to direct in the office but Terry. So it was, "Well, you need to, you need to, you need to." And so I'm really sensitive about that now. And
Yeah, I feel like having somebody who used to be like is used to being in charge of a boss and a guy who's like a motivational speaker, self-help person, I could see where the clash would exist at times.
and then just I mean, the other I would say is you just get to the point in the evening where you have to say no more,
Yeah.
close the laptops, because we're working 20 20 hour, 18 hour, 12-hour day for a long time, and we realize you can do that for a short time, but you really can't sustain that and be healthy as you age. Let's just
Yeah.
So financially, were you both in a position where you didn't need to work, or did you start the company because you felt like you needed some extra cash as well?
I It's like we could have survived, um, but it wasn't enough, and so there was some financial gain that we were hoping to achieve. It wasn't what drove us to from the very beginning to the end, but there is no doubt that there is a sense of enthusiasm and excitement in being able to feel like you've achieved some things economically that you did not have or would not have without the business.
And so, um, like, how do you convince people to invest in their skin? I think generally speaking, when people think about investing in their skin, I mean, a lot of it comes down to maybe cosmetic stuff, surgery, Botox, etc. I mean, obviously, there's been a movement through with skincare routines, but um, I'm just curious, like, given all of the stuff that people need to be focusing on, like, why should people prioritize their skin?
I would say that what began to happen as much as anything in terms of convincing people is got to the emotional part about it, meaning what kind of impression am I making? Do I hear people saying good things about my skin? Because believe it or not, we've never met a person who is not affirmed and encouraged by that when they hear those kind of words like, boy, your skin is looking good. So, what does that really do to a person on the inside? Well, that raises a level of confidence that they did not have before. So, in our messaging, that really is part of what we preach is let us help you raise your level of confidence when it comes to your skin. You can feel good about the fact that when you go to meet people, you go to a meeting, you go to work, you even do it in family things, then people are going to recognize your countenance, your face, and be able to see that it's making a difference. And they say so.
that's one of the most exciting things for me to hear, and I hear it every week, is I will get an email or sometimes it's in the review, but people have started noticing my skin. Or the other day, someone asked what I was doing different. And so we hear that probably more than anything, and nothing makes me happier because I've touched an area that, it's really special to be able to give that to someone.
And so what do you think people tend to do wrong when it comes to taking care of their skin? So, like, if you were to, like, give 3 things and you can maybe overlap, is if somebody was to have, wrinkly skin that looks super old, like, what have you found that people do that rapidly increases the risk of that?
Too much sun. Some sun is good. I love sun. Early morning sun is my favorite. But by far, sun, I mean, not only wrinkles, but I mean, the guy who worked for years out in the sun without using sunscreen has had to visit the dermatologist a lot and has Mohs surgery regularly, although now it's going a lot better. And so I have to say sun is just, and it's hard because we love the sun. The sun feels good. It's, brightens your day, it lifts your attitude.
Yeah.
But that's a big one. So sun, and I'd say unprotected sun. And one of the beautiful things about the copper peptides is while they do not prevent burn, they actually have preventative, uh, they can prevent UV damage. They can actually help immediately start restoring from UV and free radicals. So I use it before sunscreen. So I think that is number one about skin. And then the second one I would say is putting bad things on your face. It's almost better not to use anything other than you need sun protection. But there's so many, we read every day about new carcinogens and new, hormone disruptors and, things that are bad. So be really careful and mindful about what you're putting on your skin. I think that is definitely number two. And then this is, I guess, more for women, but wash your face wash it off at night. I mean, you got to get rid of the garbage from the day, and that the pollution, the dirt, the grime, the allergy. And I know still so many women that go to bed without washing their face. So these are things separate from using a clean, active, a product with actives.
Terry, anything to add?
I would say the other thing that is so important is whether it's our product or another product that is efficacious, don't quit. Like, just be consistent morning and night throughout a period of time. Be diligent. Don't try it once or twice or even a week or so and think, oh, this isn't working. Because skincare like this, like Vitali, it works at a cellular level and it takes time. So be diligent and be patient. And the visible results will come, but you've got to be really and truly patient and diligent.
And so how do you convince somebody to spend on products like yours versus like something that I've been guilty of over the years, whether it's just buying some generic product on Amazon or in the store, getting a facial every few months, making sure I wash my face, which, is nominal compared to the cost of some of skincare products that exist. Like what's the elevator pitch for people to over-index when it comes to spending on skincare stuff?
Well, I would say that the science, sharing in a way that people can understand the science of what this product can do, which is, and having my doctor be a part of the company and explain in words that we can all understand, this copper peptide goes down into your stem cells of your skin and tells it to act younger. I mean, that's how she explained it. And having a lot of, I think in the medical field, many who use the product, I think that's one way we've grown. They use it and share it and talk about how it's helped them and their patients. And now I try to look better than a 69-year-old might look. I'm really serious about using the products twice a day, and hopefully that can inspire a little bit.
Terry, you got any inspirational words for that?
I don't know how inspirational it is, but it kind of helps that most people in the market have never heard or never tried copper peptides. So there's some intrigue about it. That sounds like something I haven't done or I haven't tried. And for most people, that is absolutely true. If you have or you have tried it, it could very well be, and more than likely was, that it was a diluted version versus the concentrated version that we produce. And so just kind of recognizing that it does something that most skincare ingredients won't do, being able to function at that deep cellular level. It's intriguing. So I think people become all the more interested. And to begin with, quite frankly, most of them that we talk to, when we get that close to, will say, well, gosh, I don't have much to lose. I think I'll at least give this a try.
So you've talked about collagen, and I know that when I've talked to skincare people, when they talk about like things to take to really like help with your skin, the number one thing they tend to go to is collagen. What's the difference, the way you understand it, between the copper that is in your products and collagen? Like, what do they each do that's so different?
Our product actually stimulates your own collagen. So it's not just adding a collagen, it is actually, and that's you hit on, Doug, that is really the beauty of these products, is it helps your body, produce what it needs, what it's missing. I mean, that's what they all the everything in most of everything in these products, that's what it's about, is replacing what you need so that your body, it stimulates collagen, not just adds collagen. And I think that's and elastin. It helps promote your elastin, which helps your skin have elasticity and firmness.
Right. And this may be a bit rhetorical, but Debbie, I heard you mention getting a prescription for a compound earlier. Like, your products don't require prescription, right?
And they don't have to be in the refrigerator. These that's part of the beauty. You can order this and enjoy it without that. And all the other thing is it's combined with many other beautiful ingredients that help, help the skin and the body.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of your products. I've used them. Like, you guys sent me some a while back, and I love like the moisturizer. Like, I feel like, so for some reason I just feel like so refreshed. Except sometimes the purple like cream will get stuck in my beard a little bit. So like I'll like have to like make sure that it's out before I go anywhere. But I will say, for me, I have really sensitive skin. Like, there's if I use like even like a product that's slightly outdated or something that doesn't agree with my skin, like my face will turn like bright red. So I have to be kind of careful. That's why I wanted to try the product before, like, really collaborating with you guys, because sometimes even if they're the best of products, they could just really like mess with my weird skin. Um, Along those same lines, let's just say you have somebody right now that is interested in upgrading their skin health and they don't know where to start. They don't know what to expect. Like, realistically, if somebody were to try out some of your products, where would they start and what can they expect? Like, realistically, in like a week's time or in like a month's time?
Well, I would say the 2%, we have two serums. We have a 2% and a 3%. Both are much higher than what you see out in the general market. Like, usually it's 0.5% to 1%, when they will tell you what's in the bottle. I would start with the 2% serum to see how your skin does with that. And what you can see, it's not 1 week, although we had someone, I mean, I have people many times talk about within the first week, they can feel a difference in their skin. You had someone just
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. And most of the time it's because they have very dehydrated skin. And so our product adds lots of hydration, that hyaluronic acid, along with some of the other moisturizing kind of ingredients. It causes the skin to really plump up because it's been so dry. So that's not necessarily change at the cellular level, but does it change at the surface level where you see impact and could get impact early on? Absolutely, yes.
But and I'll just go with what my doctor has shared and what the person who actually discovered GHKCU, Dr. Picard, you need 2 to 3 months to really see significant change.
Yeah.
And not saying you will not before, because I did, and many people will write, as we hear, a week, 2 weeks, a month, but usually by the third month, you're seeing something different. Your skin is changing.
And some of it has to do with your skin condition.
Everyone's different.
There are some people who are so disciplined about their skin and very meticulous about their skin. It takes them, it actually takes them longer to see result because they've taken such good care of the skin versus somebody who's not. They're going to see a much more radical sense of improvement very early on.
One of the things that I think people question when it comes to supplements is that typically when people are interested in taking supplements, they're also people that are interested in changing other aspects of their health. So when I say that, do you find that do you recommend people to see the maximum benefit from skincare products? They should also focus on the other things, eating better, staying hydrated, sleep, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and taking the supplements. Like I use a collagen every day, a collagen, you know, hydrolyzed collagen that goes into the cells more. 'Cause it's all it is the whole thing. So you're absolutely right about that. And drinking water, drinking plenty of water. That's staying
Hydration.
hydration. Electrolytes now, people, have access to many good electrolytes to keep hydrated, and that certainly helps your skin better.
Are there any things that you would say that that based on what you know in your own experience and doing the research that you should never put on your skin? For instance, I was told growing up, don't like touch your face with your hands. I mean, now there's certain products that come out where people are saying not to put certain things on your face, not to use certain types of soap. Like, is there anything that you found that can really
I think sunscreens are probably one of the first things I think about. I use the mineral, and I have tried probably 25 sunscreen, and I go to the mineral based, even those that have the you look white. Although part of what I'm working on is finding one that absorbs better and that does not have hormone disruptors and potential, carcinogens, etc. So I think be careful because that's something you should wear every day and you put on your children. And so I would say look at the ingredients and, stay away from the bad ingredients in sunscreen. Oxybenzone, and there's several.
Terry, what do you do like every morning or every night to protect your skin other than obviously using your amazing products?
I'd say, kind of back to the diet thing, I'm very particular about that. Um, also I'm still, at this place where I am overcoming what I did to my skin as a child. I grew up in New Orleans. I lived on the water, did landscaping all the way through my high school years, and some of that is just wreaking havoc still on my skin. And, so one of the things that I do on an ongoing basis is I continue to heavily exfoliate the areas where I get these keratoses and this rough kind of skin that, I know that would not be there had I not done such a poor job at taking care of my skin when I was younger.
I know family's big for you guys. I know we were talking about like having some potential scheduling issues because of the schedule with the grandparent or with the grandkids, excuse me, and doing that. So I know it's important to you. From an emotional level, like Terry, let's maybe start with you. Like, what emotionally kind of hits you, like when you're thinking about like why you want to really take care of your health? Like, what's at the core of it for you?
Oh gosh, I really do aspire to be that role model for my grandchildren. I want that. I want that in a bad way. And it's not just about my skin, but it's my overall fitness and health. And, when somebody's skin doesn't look good, that's just a sign of what's going on the inside. So being able to be that role model for my grandchildren. So and I love this part. When they bring their friends over and their significant others, they really take pride in being able to introduce us. And in people
We hope.
they really do. They take a lot of joy in it, and that's flattering to me. It's so affirming and encouraging that they would do that. And I know that just would not be the case if we weren't so diligent about taking care of ourselves, including our skin. So that means a lot.
Yeah, and kids, they can have role models kind of anywhere these days with parents and maybe like friends and maybe even people they follow on social media. Like why is it so important to you to be that guy for your grandkids?
Absolutely. And I just think it's so
Why is it so important for you to be that guy for your grandkids when kids can, find role models anywhere
I
these.
think that's the deal. They are all the time looking for role models. They're looking for heroes. And if you are just going to allow them to go pick and choose something that's in the world that is not necessarily that positive thinking and positive living kind of person, uh, you basically really missed an opportunity. So they will fill the void for a hero. And if you don't purposely try to set yourself up in that relationship kind of business where they will choose you, they'll find somebody else. And I don't want that.
Debbie, what about you? Like, what really like strikes your nerves? Like when you're thinking about how hard business can be at times. Like, what keeps you going emotionally?
Well, I think also to set the example, I know we have 4 daughters, and they're so proud of what we're doing, and it's like you don't give up. And I want to pass that along. We don't give up. We keep going. This has not been easy. There has been some times where we sit down like, what are we doing? What in the world were we thinking? And, that happens every 2 or 3 weeks. And the fact that we keep going, and I know my daughter just recently just said, I am just so proud of you, Mom. And so that feels good, but more importantly, it's like, "Hey, you're just 44. You've got a long way to go. You can still, you have a lot to do. You can still do it. Dream big." So it feels good to live that way.
Do you, Debbie, let's start with you on this, and Terry, you can chime in if you have additional thoughts. But I know there has been, I guess, some controversy on regarding social media and the impacts of like young girls when it comes to like skincare and stuff. And you're having girls that are like, super young now having skincare routines, and it's, I think, creating some mental health issues and some feelings of inadequacy. Like, do you find that we're pushing people at such a young age to like care about their skin, and it can lead to like damaging things down the road?
I think the care about their skin part is good. Some of the things that um, they're doing, I don't think are necessarily so good. And I know I have my 9-year-old granddaughter. She comes with blush now. I mean, and I'm the one wiping it off. She's on. She gets to use her tablet just a short time, couple of times in a day, but she goes straight to YouTube and is looking at exactly what you're talking about, how to put on makeup, how to do, and it's hard for me. So I actually give them some of the oil that I have. They both have the hydration boost. They love it. It's a natural. It's a squalene oil. So I try to direct them toward healthy things they can do for their skin. Certainly the right sunscreen. We have a lot of discussions about that. Um, I mean, I see it because I have granddaughters, experiencing exactly what you're talking about.
Terry, anything to add from you, Terry?
I would just say that, as you well know, skincare is part of that, but it goes so much deeper in terms of the impact of social media on their psyche, and we can really tell.
Oh yeah.
It's just you might as well hang a sign around your neck that said, "I'm in a bad mood." When they walk in, their countenance is down because they've been um, in the comparative game, caught up on TikTok and whatever else that they're watching. It's it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is, and it's like social media is such a great tool, right? But I also think, when you're young and you don't have your brain isn't fully developed, you don't have the maturity yet to kind of think more objectively and more nuance and stuff. You fall into that perfection trap, right? And what I worry about is you have these kids that think they just need to, but there's always something they need to do to themselves to look and feel better, right? And then when you reinforce that at a young age, that only gets worse. And you're starting the process like way sooner than typically that kind of happens like after you graduate high school and into college, and you're starting to like adult a little bit, and you're starting to get in the real world, and you're seeing, things. And, just as somebody who loves talking about mental health and ways we can combat that. I wanted to make sure that we touched on that. Um, Shifting gears a little bit, I'd love for each of you to highlight like a favorite transformation story um, from people using your products.
Well, one that I love is, and this is someone in maybe the second year. She shared she couldn't wait till she got back from vacation because people were asking about what she does, like they were complimenting her skin. And the part that was so beautiful is she said, I never got compliments as a child or as a teenager for my skin. And she's 60. And she said people were talking. She was in Hawaii and she said they were noticing my skin. So I think that is beautiful that this person was receiving compliments and was not accustomed to that in their life.
Yeah. And I would say the same. I mean, it really is every week, sometimes every day, we get those kind of comments in. And I think about one most recently, this lady that lived in the UK, where we have a pretty good footprint. And she actually took pictures before and after. She was just all lit up about how she had been fighting these spots on her forehead and on the temples of her skin, and just really dealt with it for a long time. And it wasn't until she started being diligent with the product that she began to see a difference. And she was so proud to be able to show us and her family what kind of difference it was making for her life.
And we have a gentleman that I love. This is so real because he said, I have the same under eye area as my mother.
Yeah.
And he said, I used your eye cream. And he said, after 8 weeks, he said, it's 50% improved. And he said, I was actually surprised. But I loved how real he was about the way he described it. And that's great because 40% of our users are men, which is very exciting because men care about the health of their skin also.
But I think that the other stories that really are moving are the ones that are post-surgery, where they have scars and they start applying the product again, on a diligent basis, and they see where the scar begin to get smoother and it becomes healed up. So that's a big deal because scars are embarrassing and they are obtrusive, and and who doesn't want to have to deal with that?
So, are your products, can they be used like men and women? You recommend the products for the same product. So, like, if somebody were listening to this or watching this, and they were to start with just one product to like get their foot in the door, like, where do you send them?
We send them to the serum. I think Debbie hit it on the head that it is that 2% GHK serum is a fantastic place to start. If you start with clean skin, men have an advantage, though, at least those who are shaving, they have an advantage for
I know. All right.
being able to naturally exfoliate their skin where they can get big impact.
And I know you guys have a special like discount code for people who are listening to this or watching this. It's Doug. If they go to vitaliskincare.com, they get 20% off, I believe, right?
If they
Yep.
put in the Doug promo, they will receive 20% off.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing. Anything else that we didn't cover that you would like to add regarding skincare, Vitali, or any of the products?
Yeah, I'd love to just share that in addition to the serum, which one of the things that's unique about our product is it's blue. I don't know if you can.
Is it blue or purple? Because
Well, it's blue, but it may
I'm told I'm colorblind sometimes.
there.
Oh, I can see
There,
it. Yeah,
can you
yeah,
see?
yeah. Yeah, I can.
So, and it's a good deep. The serum is a deep, rich blue because it has a significant percentage of copper peptides. And then we have, of course, one of your favorites is the moisturizer, which you use. It's a lighter blue. I don't think you can see that lighter blue. It does have a little purpley cast right about that. We have a wonderful eye cream that I was telling you about. And then one of the products that we're almost out of, but we'll be restocking, is our body cream. And it is wonderful, wonderful body cream. It has rosemary oil as well as the GHKCU and shea butter and other wonderful products, and people love that. And then we have oils, and we have a cleanser, exfoliating cleanser with lactic acid, which helps remove the dead skin cells, so these products work better. And finally, a bakuchiol oil, which is a natural retinol. And we love that for people who are sensitive, or, you were talking about having sensitive skin. You probably may not be able to use retinol. You could use bakuchiol on your skin. Helps with cellular turnover. So that's just a quick rundown of the products.
Terry, got anything to add?
The only other thing I would add is that we recently added this little product called, it's a resurfacing cream. It's a 10% lactic acid. This stuff is magical. To see, but I have used this on these hard to reach keratoses on the top of my head, and I wake up the next day and have them smooth. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, love that.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you both coming on. Big fans of what you're doing. And again, if what Terry and Debbi said resonated with you all, or you want to give their amazing products a try, if you go to vitaliskincare.com, it's VITALI skincare.com, and use the code Doug at checkout, you'll get 20% off. But Terry, Debbi, thank you so much once again for coming on the show.
Thank
Love
you,
it.
Doug.
Enjoyed it.